Mark Jeffries, and Matt Pangrak. BTL is brought to you by Lowrance, Lose, Strike King Lures, Bass Cat Boats, Ducket Fishing, Spro, AFCO, Sunline, and TH Marine. BTL coming at you. Good Monday, everybody. Welcome once again to BTL Bass Talk Live, where we're going to talk bass fishing and anything else that we want to talk about. Matthew, how was your weekend?
It was good. Caught some crappie. Went to the IFR rodeo in Oklahoma City. Over there at the Lazy E.
That was in Guthrie.
Guthrie?
Yeah.
Well, close to Oklahoma City.
No.
They had people from all over the country.
Did the girlfriend win
Canada.
any money? Did she win any money? She didn't make that. She could have, but it's just like different divisions. So you just went as a fan.
Basically, she started fishing if you consider it the BFL, she missed the first two BFLs and then still almost qualified for it earnings wise, but didn't know. So one of the other girls there, they run like 4 times in 3 days, borrowed her horse to run because you qualify as the person there, not like the horse. So you can run whatever horse you want.
Like somebody borrowing somebody's boat.
They called in their reliever for one round. And
wow.
He did okay. It didn't go great. But yeah, we got to just kind of sit back and watch.
It's a cool place. I've been there.
Yeah.
I know you're shocked, but I have been there. I went to a bull riding show there.
There you go.
One time.
But yeah, and then I did some crappie fishing, caught a couple over too.
All
sorts of drama going on in the crappie world. You think the bass world is drama filled?
It's got drama?
The high-end trophy crappie fishing world right now, on a much smaller scale, very reminiscent of Southern California in the late 90s.
Jeez. Really?
Not going to go into it, but yeah. You got guys blowing out other guys' secret spots. You got groups of guys coming together. You got all the trophies. Really.
So are you going to be the reporter on this? Are you going to break it?
No. That's the extent that I'm going to go into it. Because I'm not really in that world. I'm kind of on the fringes of it, trying to learn it. But I caught a couple big ones yesterday. But we got a great show today.
We do. A couple of housekeeping items real quick. I do want to mention today we're going to have Clark Wendlandt on here at the top of the hour. But first, a special guest, the man that got it done on the K-chain, Mr. Bryan New.
Did you just come up with that?
What do you mean?
The K-chain?
Yeah, you like that?
I'd never heard of that.
Kissimmee chain.
I know, but have you ever heard of it?
I just made it up. Do you like it?
It's okay. I said
I've been saying
unnecessary, but I like it. Oh, yeah, it's got a ring to it.
The K-chain. Yeah.
He fished the whole chain, too. He fished
did.
like Toho. He locked through into Kissimmee.
Yeah, so we're going to have him on live via Skype first, and then we're going to have Clark on the remainder of the week. Wow, what a show. In studio tomorrow, Jimmy Houston, and then we're going to have Rick Clunn on Wednesday. Join us via the phone. Dang. So a jam-packed week next week. Mark Davis on Monday, and then really looking forward to this. The CEO of BASS, Mr. Bruce Aiken, is going to join us on Tuesday live via Skype and kind of give us a State of the Union address for Bass, his thoughts on last year and the upcoming season, because it kicks off in 2 weeks, Matthew.
Yeah, everything is underway. They're actually in the second day of practice now for the FLW Pro Circuit. Opening stop on Sam Rayburn. I believe it's actually not 15 feet high like it was last year. Been reading some of the guys talking about it. Seems like they're catching them decent down there. And they said, hey, it's a completely different lake from what they experienced last year with the 10-foot high and all the flooding. So would expect some big weights there. A bunch of new names. I think over 30 new rookies that are on that 150 boat field. So a lot of opportunity starts in just a couple days there on the FLW Pro Circuit.
All right, a couple of things. One, I really want to apologize to everybody. I made just a horrible mistake yesterday. I was doing a bowling tournament, right? Not bowling in it, but I was actually doing the streaming and doing the play-by-play. And guess what, Matthew? I forgot to take off the link for the link up with our YouTube channel. So during Sunday afternoon, people were getting notifications that Bass Talk Live was live on YouTube, when actually, what do you think it was?
Oh, that's cruel. You get enough
bowling.
grief about how much you talk about bowling, and now everyone's like, "Oh, son."
I know.
So were people like, "What the heck?"
There were over 1,000 page views for the 2 times that I streamed yesterday.
Oh God!
And I deleted it. I didn't want it out there. I'm sorry. If you wanted your fix of bowling, you can go over to true-bowling.com and get that. So I did not do that intentionally. I just forgot about it. It's part of the back door with the streaming company that we use, and I just goofed that all up. So
that's pretty
I
funny.
apologize. I did get some emails.
Hate emails?
No,
or people
no.
like, hey, just so you know, this isn't BTL.
Yeah, and in fact, Andy in Indiana said, you got my wife watching some bowling yesterday, and those are much nicer lanes than what we have around here on the instant feedback. So, pretty cool. The thing about it was, too, the guy that ended up winning, it was a doubles tournament, Chris Prather and Zach Wilkins. Chris Prather, who was an All-American at Wichita State, a seasoned vet, tour champion, all that. He's actually going to be in studio because he is just an obsessed bass fisherman. He lives in Florida. He grew up fishing all the Florida lakes. So when he found out that he had an opportunity to come and watch BTL, but more importantly, it has nothing to do with me. He wanted to meet Jimmy Houston.
Yeah, there you go.
So we're going to have Chris Prather in studio on Tuesday along with Jimmy. And I don't know if we'll get him on. We might get him on. It just depends on what happens with Jimmy. All right. The other thing I have to apologize on.
2 apologies?
Yes. Dead wrong. And, dude, I got hammered with emails saying, Jeffries, you're an idiot. Well, not that. Well, I am kind of an idiot. But here, let me play this sound clip real quick if I can get it queued up.
Okay.
And
I have no idea where this is going.
Hang on.
This was not in our extensive.
We have a launch detection. We have a Soviet launch detection.
B-News confirmed a massive attack.
Missile warning, no malfunction.
Confidence is high. I repeat, confidence is high.
Cobra Dane, is this an exercise?
Negative, this is not an exercise.
General, DBS is tracking 300 inbound Soviet ICBMs.
How long is this?
it's not very long.
Tell me this is one of your simulations, Mr. Jeffrey. All right. Flush the bombers, get the subs in launch mode. We are at DEFCON 1.
There you have it. It's not DEFCON 5. I screwed up. It is DEFCON 1, and I got just an enormous amount of email. Jeffries, you're an idiot. It's DEFCON 1. I mean, I had multiple paragraphs of people explaining to me the warning system for a nuclear attack. All right, but that sound clip right there was from the film, I believe it was 1983, Matthew Broderick.
If you
was in at War Games.
Haven't listened to the recent shows for the past 12 years, Jeffries is a big fan of saying, quote, DEFCON 5, when it's at the highest level of whatever, anxiety, excitement, anger. And as our listeners have pointed out, it is DEFCON 1. So,
it is DEFCON 1. So I messed that one up.
No,
dude.
It's all good. I'm kind of pumped to get Bryan New on. We've got Clark Wendlandt with 3 FLW Angler of the Year titles, so he's pretty decorated. But New was like a co-angler for Brian Thrift.
Wow.
Traveled with him, kind of the Carolinas thing. It kind of cracked me up, like a Demiki Stinger was in his winning arsenal, which obviously that's. But I mean, he's been good. He's fished the one division of the coast as a Southeast division as a boater, qualified for a bunch of Costa championships. But on the co-angler side, he has 3 wins. He's won the Forest Wood Cup in 2014. He has 6 top 10s in the FLW Tour on that. Fished the Northerns as a co, but like transitioned, I guess, kind of full time to the front of the boat now. Yeah. And obviously a talented angler who has gleaned some stuff from Brian Thrift, because I was looking at this, and I'll just bring this up now before we get him on, since we've got 2 guys on the show today. But I was looking, in April of 2019, he won the ABA Ray Scott Championship on Eufaula. That's that series that I'm going to fish this year. Mm-hmm. Like the top 10, and then you in like all these different divisions, and then you go fish it. And so he won a fully rigged, like high-end Triton and $50K. Then in October of 2019, he won the BFL Regional on Seminole, which valued at $71,000. And then in January, this past week, he wins on the Kissimmee chain. Probably the strongest open field in the history of the Bassmaster Opens. It's hard
I agree.
Hard to disagree with that when you look at the standings. 52,000. So for those 3 tournaments over the past 8 months, which is basically the length of a season, over $235,000 in earnings, winning with 3 different organizations. So it kind of got me thinking. So you get that email, the Best on Tour email. It's like 10 different
it's good
things
stuff.
and all that stuff. So I pulled that up because I remember on one of the Best on Tours, they compared bull riding to bowling to bass fishing with the top 10 earnings for 2019. Now I know little wraparound, one of them was in January, he didn't fish, but in these 3 tournaments, over $235,000, he would be in the top 10 of earnings for 2019, right there with Buddy Gross, who fished 12 events, made $212,000, and you're talking about a $5,000 entry fee and the possibility of $300,000 with the FLW Cup and stuff. So in 3 events, across those 3 platforms, he made in the top 10 of earnings of what the guys did, the top guys. We're talking the Thrifts, the Evers, those type of guys. So, I mean,
it's pretty amazing.
By far the highest earning for a non-tour level angler over the past year.
Yeah.
And everyone's got
man.
good stuff to say about him, too. I guess he's a super nice guy. I see what looked. I mean, I've heard of him, with all his wins, but I didn't really know him. He's a Clemson fan. I was talking about, before the national championship, hey, we got any Clemson fans out there? He's always got the purple and orange?
Yes.
The purple and orange on.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we're going to get him on here just in a few minutes. We'll take a break here in a second. I do want to mention this. One more thing about bowling, Matthew. I just have to mention it because, dude, it was an unbelievable weekend to kick off the PBA Tour at the Hall of Fame Classic in Arlington, Texas. Tommy Jones, the dude gets inducted into the Hall of Fame on Saturday night. On Sunday, he makes it to the final game in the finals, and he bowls 300 on television. Hall of Fame, wins a championship, and bowls 300 on TV.
Yeah, it'd be like getting inducted to the Hall of Fame fishing a tournament, winning it, and weighing in a 10-pounder.
It's a little bit bigger than that. It really is. I think it was a 29-time.
A lot more guys, though, have 300 games than guys have weighed 10-pounders in tournaments. Would you not say? It's easier to bowl a 300 on TV than catch a 10-pounder in a tour event.
Agree, 100%.
Not many people can say they've done that.
No.
I'm sure. I wonder if New had any 10-pounders. He had 100 pounds. He was like 98 pounds when he won on Eufaula in the ABA.
Yeah.
Wonder if there are any 10s in that mix.
I don't know.
If that's a precursor of what we're going to see at Eufaula in the upcoming tour events there between the BPT and what else is going on there? I mean, that could be a fun one.
Could be. All right, coming back with Bryan New here on a Monday. Everybody stay tuned.
The ultimate fishing system starts with Lowrance HDS Live. Upgrade to HDS Live with a Ghost trolling motor, live sight transducer, or Structure Scan 3D, and get up to $500 cash back.
Yeah, you care about gear ratios, inches per turn, and ball bearings, but most importantly, you want reliability and dependability in the equipment you use. Luz doesn't cut corners when it comes to the gear they build. The new Speed Spool LFS is the best $99 reel in the market. Go see for yourself.
We've paired one of the most iconic hulls in the history of bass boats with a proven lineup of trusted accessories. We're bringing you best-in-class value and performance, leaving others in your wake. Turnkey value, turnkey performance. The Pantera 2 is an overachiever in the 19-foot category. Once you hit the throttle, you'll feel the rush, and there's no looking back.
Kevin, what are you doing here?
Oh, I'm just filling in for Billy.
I need 660 shad crankbaits in the Series 5 model.
We're out.
You're not out. You got all kinds of them right there.
We're out.
Kevin, I need 6.
Have a lollipop.
I do not want a lollipop.
Have a lollipop.
Do you have it in sexy shad color?
At Duckett Fishing, we have assembled the top pros in the country to help us design rods to give you a competitive advantage. Castability, strength, durability, action, sensitivity, weight and balance, and consistency. Combine that with the best warranty in the industry, and you have rods that are pro-driven.
Duckett Fishing, pro-driven.
I want to share with you a new product we got coming out from Sunline. This is the FC leader size spools that we have now. We've gotten a lot of requests for this. A lot of you guys use fluorocarbon for leaders only, myself included. And one of the problems you have is when you have a 200-yard spool, that might last you 2, 3, 4 years. You might even lose it before you even get done with the spool. So we've gone to a little smaller spool. These are 50-yard spool sizes. You know, that way you're not holding your line on forever. You can keep your line fresh, use it when you can. Stores real easily in the boat. We got all of our popular line sizes that you're used to with our Sniper from 5 to 14 pound. If you guys are looking for a line that you're only tying for a leader, go check out Sunline FC Leader 100% fluorocarbon and give it a try.
Blue Water by TH Marine. Offering LED lighting solutions for your boat, trailer, truck, ATV, and so much more. Engineered and built to be rugged with waterproof and submersible options. Designed for easy installation, Blue Water is available in a variety of colors and styles. All backed by a limited lifetime warranty. Blue Water by TH Marine.
The name SPRO says it all. SPRO stands for Sports Professionals. When you look at the pro staff that SPRO has brought on board over the past 15 years, it's been pretty incredible. I mean, one got it just then. From the development of the rock crawler to the McStick, from the Fat Papa to the Little John series, when you tie a SPRO bait on, you know it's been designed by a professional to get the job done.
Meet AFCO's iCast award-winning Hydronaut waterproof system. Hydronaut features a 20K 100% waterproof shell, double dry cuffs to keep water out, speed vent hood engineered to prevent neck strain at high rates of speed, AFCO exclusive Cyclops tactical camera mount, Comfort Flex shoulder straps for all-day comfort, outerwear that you can count on. The Hydronaut waterproof system by AFCO. Any fish, any water.
All of us on the Pro Tournament Trail use Gamakatsu hooks. Why? Because they are absolutely the best.
It's not about how many bites you get.
It's how many you put in the boat.
Gamakatsu makes hooks for every fishing style.
We didn't come this far to lose fish.
Did you?
For more information, visit gamakatsu.com.
The Big Bite Baits Kamikaze Swim On is a very unique bait, and it's got a full body but with ribs to give it a bigger profile but not more plastic. It's got a jointed tail that gives it a lot of action, as well as this up and down crawl type trail with holes and ribs in it, so it creates a bubble trail almost. This bait is supposed to be fished upside down or vertical like this on a grate for a chatterbait. I prefer it on a swim jig as well, but you can also cut it down and put it on the back of a finesse jig. You know, flip it around for some spotted bass or flipping docks. Anytime you want a small, compact, you know, little trailer for it, this is great for it. So check out the full lineup of swim-ons at bigbitebaits.com.
All right, we are back on a Monday. We are ready to go to our special guest live via Skype. And very impressive stats you were reading off there, Matthew.
He has more earnings in the past 8 months than like 35% of the elite field has in their careers. I mean, you could do it any number of ways.
Yeah.
I mean, that's got to suck, though, when you're hanging out with your buddy Bryan Thrift, because there's like maybe 2 guys on earth who wouldn't be impressed with what he's done. Bryan's probably one of them. He's probably like, yeah, I've done that too.
All right,
I've done the $500,000 in a year, all that stuff. He's like, I mean, what else do I got to win?
All right, let's bring him in. Bryan, thanks for taking time out. Nice piece of hardware you have to your right.
Yeah, it is a very nice piece. Good paycheck to come with it, though.
Yeah, that's important. All right, man. Just very, very impressed with what you've done. And I'm sure you're going to get hammered, but dude, I mean, right out of the gates, a W. Life is good right now, isn't it?
It really is, man. The last year has been just incredible. I've had a lot of success in the past with, from the co-angler stuff in transitioning to the front of the boat, and you can't describe it. You really can't. Last year was just unbelievable. From the first coast of the year, I finished 6th last year. I was 4 minutes late one day. If I wouldn't had that penalty, I would have finished 2nd. So that was incredible. Actually, starting in the Coastal Championship before that, I think I finished 4th in that event as well. And then last year was just crazy. I finished 3rd in the All-American, qualified for the All-American again this year. And then I start the year out like this. It just, you can't explain when things are going like this.
Wow. So what all are you fishing this year?
Well, before this tournament, I was fishing the Eastern Opens, the South Coastas, some BFLs, some ABAs, whenever I'm in town, as many of those as I can. The All-American. Now, I'm going to call today and sign up and try to get in the Central Opens. I don't know that I'm going to be able to, but I am going to try. And I'm also going to sign up. I got to look at schedule and make sure it doesn't conflict with anything that I'm already fishing, but I'm going to try to sign up for the Costa at Eufaula. That place is pretty special to me. I've won the first co-angler event that I ever won was at Eufaula, and then I won that Ray Scott deal there last year. So that place is pretty awesome, and I want to make another trip there.
Pretty unique open to start things out on the Kissimmee chain. You kind of talk about big warming trend going down there. Water was warm, and everyone thought it would be a slug fest, a spawn fest. Same month that Rojas had 45-2 in, and then it goes out. Guys, I was listening to that Todd Castle Diet's bass anger therapy. They're saying, there's going to be a 30-pound sack weighed in this deal and stuff, and then it takes like kind of 40-something to win it, and you do it in 2 different lakes on the chain and also use a balsa crankbait as part of it. So just kind of talk about how you seem to get an understanding of that entire chain of lakes and beat everyone by 4 pounds with low weights.
Well, it's kind of funny because everybody always gives Thrift a hard time about not getting a bite in practice and this and that. But honestly, I practiced with him enough, and I've kind of seen his side and knew that he wasn't lying. Well, now I get it because I had a bad practice. And a lot of those tournaments that I did well in last year was the same thing. Well, and then things just come together in the tournament. Well, at Kissimmee, the first few days of practice was terrible. I'm talking about terrible, like catch 2 or 3, 4 fish a day, and not even good ones at that. So I'm like all down on it. Here I am. I'm going to blow this money. I'm going to blow my chance at, qualifying for the elites, the first tournament of the year. And then 2 days before the tournament, I started getting some bites flipping pads. I wasn't using a hook, so I didn't really know how big they were, but I was getting some bites and I had some confidence. So, I'm preparing for the tournament. and this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to flip pads, and I truly do feel like I've got a chance to catch a big bag and do well. So I draw out, I'm boat 204. Well, I know that I can't go straight to the lock and go to Kissimmee. I've got to stop on Toho and fish something for, at least an hour. I had one offshore place in the hydrilla that I caught one bass in practice. It was probably a 4-pounder, but it was one fish, one bite. So I really didn't think a lot of it, but I didn't have anything else to stop on. So I stopped there. I catch a 5.5 and a 1.9. So I'm thinking, this is a pretty good start. So I get to the lock. I lock down. I run to Kissimmee. The first stretch of pads that I pull up on, I shook 3 off the day before. I start flipping, and I miss one that I felt like was a big one. So I was like, well, that sucks. So the next flip, I get another bite, and it felt like a little bite, but I set the hook, and it gets wrapped up in the pads and comes off. 4 hours later, I'm still fishing pads, and I haven't had another bite. So I'm like, at this point, I said, well, I'm not an expert at doing this, but I'm not a moron either. So I know this deal has went away, or at least in this area, it has went away. So I have to do something different. And at this point in the day, I don't really remember what time it was, but it had to be, at least 10, 11 o'clock. So, I'm going to pull up there shallow. It's slick, it's hot, it's sunny, and I'm going to throw a topwater bait. So I pull out this greenfish tat. It's just it's like a devil's horse style bait. I like it better because you can throw it better. It's a little heavier, and it floats really high. So, whenever you're fishing that thing really slow, it'll and you stop it, it'll just kind of turn, and it's got its own little secondary action, so to speak. And I catch a lot of fish, when it's been sitting there for 15, 20 seconds. Maybe not that long, but a really long time. So I caught a 4-pounder doing that. I was like, thought to myself, hey, maybe I've got something figured out here. That was only my 3rd fish of the day, and it's noon almost. So I run that, and I run it, and I run it, and like an hour later, I still haven't had another bite. So well, maybe that was a fluke. So I said, I'm going to go to a different area and flip some pads. Try it, nothing. So I'm going to pull up, and I'm going to throw this prop bait in this area, get up shallower. Nothing. Now I'm running through my head, what I've seen on this lake, what I know on this lake, what can I do? So for some reason, the best thing I thought was to go back to that area I caught the 4-pounder on and up. So I tried it for about 30 minutes and nothing. And then I got to thinking, I know there's big fish in this area. There's been a lot of fishermen here. There's been a lot of the, really good fishermen here. It's got pounded. What would these fish do? And like I said, it was really hot, it was really sunny, and it was slick. There was a bunch of mats up against the bank. So I said, I'm going to, flip some mats. So I've already got like 16 rods on my deck. Well, I dig in my rod box and I get my big weight out, and I start flipping. Well, it didn't take long. I caught another 1.9, so that gave me 4. Go a little bit farther, I catch another 4-something. And that was 5. So I knew I had a pretty good bag. I don't really remember exactly what it was, but I'm happy, that 1, I got a limit. 2, I've got a decent bag. I'm still alive in the tournament. So I keep running that. I keep running it. I catch one more little one that didn't help me. It's late in the day. I knew what time I needed to be back at the lock to, in case there was a bunch of boats there. So I get back, I lock through, and I've got 45 minutes to fish. Well, I'm back on Toho. I've only got one place to go that I feel like I've got a chance to catch anything. So I go back to the same offshore hydrilla place that I started on, and I caught another 4.5, a couple high ones. I caught a 2.3, and then I caught a 2.5.
Jeez, they're white.
Yeah, my smallest of the day, and I had 21.
Nice.
Wow.
So it sounds to me, after you run down that, I mean, not only was it a grind, but you had to make a lot of decisions. We're talking with Bryan New, just won the Eastern Open here, 21 pounds on the first day, then backed it up with 13-7 and 15-1 to win by over 4 pounds, 52,000. But I mean, it sounds like you made a lot of decisions in multiple lakes with multiple different styles, and they all paid off for you.
Well, yeah, so the decisions are still not over. The next 2 days were the same way. So day 2, I'm boat 22, so I can go straight to the lock and go straight through. But I knew how tough the fishing was, and you never knew where you're going to get a bite. So from what I seen on that offshore place, I knew I was probably going to go there and catch some fish. So I start there, and me and my co-angler were both catching almost every cast until 9 o'clock. At 9:15, actually. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen. At 9:14, we're both still catching them every cast. At 9:15, it was done. Lights out. It was like you caught every bass that was there, which I knew better, but that's what it looked like. Wow. So I just never got a big bite. I mean, I think I 13-7 that day, so I probably had that point. I knew that I had the cut made. I didn't feel like I could go to Kissimmee and know right where to go. I had to be in at 3 o'clock that day, so I decided that I needed to just stay at Coho, not take any big risk, just go jump fishing on Coho and hopefully run into a big bite. At the same time, I can bounce back and forth from jump fishing to my offshore place and maybe pick one up out there throughout the day. I never got another bite out there the rest of the day, but I did wind up, I caught 3 or 4 on the prop bait up shallow, and one that I caught that pulled up about half a pound. And then the last day, it was somewhat the same thing. I started on the same place again. I immediately caught a 12-incher. A couple casts later, I caught a 6-pounder. And then I caught a limit just maybe 10 minutes after that. And I told my co-angler, I said, the wind, it's supposed to blow 15 to 25 that day, which is, in Florida is really bad. I don't think that there's ever been a big bag weighed in Florida when the wind blew like that. I could be completely wrong, but I think I'm right. So I called that 12-incher and fished about 15 more minutes and didn't get another bite. So I said, well, let's go to Kissimmee. I feel like if I'm going to catch a great big one, it's going to be on Kissimmee. So I locked through. I locked at 8:20. I'm through the lock at 8:24, which was super impressive to me.
4-minute lock.
Yeah. I mean, I was the only boat in there,
right,
but that was impressive. So I run to Kissimmee, and I try to fish some pads, and I knew better than I knew the wind was blowing too much for it, but I got 2 bites really quick doing it. Neither one of them helped me, but it suckered me into doing it, and I wasted 2 hours doing that. And I finally said, man, this is dumb. What are you doing? So there was some offshore hydrilla down there that I was fishing a little bit, and it was shallower. It was like 3 foot. And I wound up, I caught one little one that didn't help. And I fish around. I finally get back to where I caught that one. And I caught like a 2.5 that gave me about a half a pound. And at that point, I never got I got one more bite the rest of the day. But so I fished around, and I said, well, let's go back to Coho. On about 2 hours on that place. The wind's blowing. Maybe you can get a bite during the day on that place if the wind's blowing. So I get back there, I have one bite, and for some reason, I don't know why, with a bait caster, if I've got a jerk to my left, 99% of the time I'm going to miss that fish. But the way the wind was blowing and the way I had to position my boat to fish it, I had to jerk to the left. And what do you think I did? I missed the fish. So, but obviously it didn't matter.
Yeah.
My co-angler caught 2 nice ones in cold, when we went back, and he had a good tournament. I believe he finished 4th or 5th, and just a awesome week. So I'm running back in, and I'm thinking to myself, when you get in this position, when you go to a tournament, realistically, you won't. I mean, of course you want to win, but realistically, you want to have a good tournament.
Mm-hmm.
But when you get that close, you don't want to do anything but win. And I knew in my mind that I didn't win. I knew I had a decent bag, so I was thinking, maybe I'll at least, finish second or third and fourth and have a good start to the year. But I knew that I didn't win. I get back, I start talking to some guys. This guy, I've got one, I've got two.
Yeah, it's brutal on the final day.
Yeah.
And after I talked to everybody, I knew that I hadn't won. I didn't know, but I knew. And then I had to drive an hour and a half in traffic, which was only 13 miles. But
Florida,
and then I had to wait, and it's just it was a long 2 hours waiting.
Yeah. Hey, real quick, Bryan, we're kind of running out of time, but I do want to know, can you tell the fans and the listeners about that prop beat real quick, or is it like something that you don't want to talk about?
No, he talked about it.
No, yeah. I mean, it's
they want to know what kind, color, all that, everything.
Greenfish Tackle makes it. It's called a TAT. It stands for Totally Awesome Topwater, but also, it's a part of the proceeds for every sale of this bait goes to breast cancer awareness. And so that's a pretty cool deal in itself. But it just, everybody knows that a prop bait is really good in Florida. There's no secret there. But it's hard to throw some of the traditional ones. They're great baits, but it's just hard to throw them very far. And those fish in Florida can be so spooky. So a long cast can definitely get you more bites.
Mm-hmm.
So I can throw this bait a lot farther than I can, some of the other ones. Plus, it floats higher. Me personally, I like it a lot better. The color that I was throwing is foiled gill, just a good bluegill color, and it catches them. I didn't catch any giants on it, but I actually used this same prop bait at Okeechobee last year whenever I finished 6, I believe. But the main bread and butter in this tournament was this Greenfish Tackle. It's the G squared, fat G squared crankbait, square bill. And I was throwing it on 15-pound line, P-line, fluorocarbon, Abu Revo winch reel, and the Fitzgerald rod's 7-foot medium heavy thrift square bill rod. That's what I did most of my damage with. I caught the second day, I caught a couple of my biggest ones on it. The first day I caught most of them on it, except for that prop bait fish. And, I caught everything except for the prop bait fish and the big weight fish on it. And then the last day, I caught most of them on a worm, on a Damiki Stinger, on a Texas rig. Just a stick bait. It's pretty awesome. And then on a Zoom old monster, on a Texas rig as well.
Very nice. Very nice. All right, man. Just outstanding job, and what a great start to 2020. And
hopefully they'll be able to get you in those centrals.
Yeah.
Make a run at the Elite Series there. You got it covered with the 52K from this win. So hopefully you'll be in Texas in April fighting it out on Louisville.
Hopefully you get in, man.
Yeah, I hope so. It's going to be a busy schedule if I get in, but I'll make it work.
All right, cool deal, man. Can't thank you enough for taking time out. Really, really good stuff for the fans to see. And congratulations. And, man, more hardware to come, right?
I sure hope so. It's a pretty good roll. I sure don't want it to end. I know it's going to sometime, but I don't want it to end anytime soon.
All right, man. Take care. Be safe, and we will talk to you soon, Bryan.
Sounds good, man. Thanks for having me.
All right, man. Take care. Great stuff there, and Yeah, it was tough that final day, man.
Mm-hmm.
It was brutal.
Decisions, though. That whole thing where he's going through it, I mean, he's talking to this, but you're talking about all these decisions to lock through lake. I mean, you're talking offshore Kissimmee grass, up shallow or offshore and both, fishing different types of grass, different types of cover, top waters, moving baits, crankbaits, all sorts of stuff. I mean, typically, that means you're not on them, right?
No.
When you're doing all that different stuff at different lakes, but man, he put it together, so super impressive. I'd love to dive in with him more on some of his kind of strategy and how he moves, because it did sound very reminiscent of a thrift tournament.
Yeah. All right.
So
I'm trying to get a hold of Clark right now, so let's see if we can
just roll right into Mr. Wendlandt.
Yeah. Rocking the ringtone there. Hey, Clark, it's Mark and Matt. You are on the show live, man. How are you?
Awesome. How are you? I'm doing great. How you guys doing?
Doing good. Sorry we're a little late getting to you, but we had Bryan New, and obviously the man that got it done at the first Open. The season is here, and I would think that you are ready to finally hit the water, man.
Absolutely. I mean, it feels like, we finished in October last year, right at the end of September, and I mean, it's been good to have time off, because if you don't have time off these days, I mean, I don't even know how you deal with it. But it's good to get away, but I can't wait to get back.
All right, let's reminisce a little bit. I want to go back to 2019. If you were to assess your performance in 2019, what would you say about it?
I would say pretty bad. I started pretty good and ended pretty good, but in the middle, pretty lousy, I'd say. I mean, I can't even really come up with very many good adjectives to say about it.
So many times, Clark, and I've known you for a while, but so many times, especially the topper-tiered guys like yourself, they kind of analyze and they look at some of the mistakes, some of the different decisions that you might have made. I find it kind of interesting that you can't really pin anything on it, because, dude, you've been doing this so long.
Yeah, and I am an analyzer. I mean, I usually look and try to figure out. But as far as the year goes into, when you start thinking about it, it was just a small decision that was poor here and a small decision that was poor there, and I can't really get any more than that. The thing about it is I just wasn't fishing really well. And, I mean, all the cliches of fishing free and a lot of the places we went to were places that I've not been to in the past, which typically I like. I mean, I like going to places that we hadn't been, or at least to places that maybe we're going to go to a different time of year, something that I'm just not used to, because it's just hard to get away from those, skeletons in the closet, the things that you're, going back to the place that you caught them last year. I mean, it's hard not to do that. But a lot of times your very best events are the ones where you can just go in fresh and say, I'm going to just do whatever the fish show me and go from there.
Clark, this is Matt here, and I want to go back to the Angler of the Year Championship on St. Clair there. You had an outside chance of sneaking into the Classic. I think you had to have like 5 or 6 things happen, and all the guys you needed to catch him caught him ahead of you. But you did finish third there with almost 67 pounds over 3 days of smallmouth. Ken Duke will claim that momentum is not a real thing in bass fishing. The anglers will say momentum is a real thing. Can you take, what you kind of deemed as a mediocre year and take that third place finish and roll it into the start of the 2019 season? Or is there just, you spend too much time in trees and killing stuff and fishing in the off season that there's really no rollover from that?
Yeah, no, I hope to. I mean, I'm hoping I will. And momentum is for sure definitely a thing. And usually, I just want to end the year strong, no matter what happens. So, last year ended up good. The tournament before that at Oklahoma was just pitiful. And but then I went there and I had a shot, and I mean, heck, I caught probably more smallmouth weight than I've ever caught in a tournament in my life, and I fished well, and so yeah, I'm hoping to take that and put it into a strong elite season this year. And I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I really am. I can't wait. We're going to some different places. We're going to a few same places. Champlain, I've always said, is my favorite lake, and but it's a lot of people's favorite lake because it's just so cool up there. And I love the northern swing that we got. A three tournament swing in smallmouth country. I think that's going to be pretty awesome. So, I'm hoping that momentum will carry over.
Clark, some people that listen to this show across the nation may not realize the importance and what you're doing from a television standpoint. Kind of talk a little bit about how you got into that, and do you think that is actually helping you maybe in some of your tournament fishing?
Yeah, the TV part of it in professional angling these days, it's nice to have something else, I think. I mean, I just think you broaden yourself so much when you can offer more than just going out and competing in tournaments. Whether it be video or television, and I had the opportunity several years ago to get in on the TV side, and it's a lot of work, but it's real similar to tournament fishing in that, you've got and I've talked to Zona a lot about this too. You've got a production company, you've got a lot of people that are there, and there's kind of a pressure that comes with it to get the show done. To catch all you need to catch to make a good show, and you want the show to come out really good, and so you got to catch them on a 1 or 2 day time frame window, and you gotta make it work. So I think it does help you on the tournament side, and it does take a lot of time, but that's just time fishing. So for me personally, I mean, it's been good. I really like it, and look forward to hopefully continuing it in the future.
All right, for 2020, where can the fans across the country catch your television show?
Fishing and Hunting Texas, and it'll be on Pursuit, and I don't even have the times in front of me, but it's the second quarter, so starts about April 1st and runs into July, and it'll be on 3 times a week. I'll post it when it gets close, and those times get set in stone. But then you can also catch it on regional networks like Fox Sports and some of the other just Grip and Grin channels. So it's one of those things that I just enjoy doing.
All right, man, I'm kind of putting you on the spot here, but I know in producing and making these television shows, there's funny stuff that happens all the time. I mean, Zona has told me numerous stories about some things that have happened over the years. What was something funny, unique that took place when you were cutting all the shows for 2020?
One of the things that happened that was a fishing related deal is I caught a 4-pounder and a 5-pounder on one plug, and it just so happened that when it was while we were filming, and we actually had a slow-mo camera running, so you get the fish kind of jumping and kind of one of those unique things. A lot of times those really unique things, you just don't, you don't catch them on camera because you're not filming at that point, or I get to spend so much time on the water that a lot of times, I don't have a bird going in the back of the boat, and I don't get to catch every single thing. But that was one unique thing on the fishing side, and probably one of the funnest things I did this year is I filmed a show with Zona on a private lake that was just sickly, unbelievably awesome, and that show is actually going to air this week on the Outdoor Channel. So it just brought it to mind, just the fact that show's coming up this week, and filming. I mean, doing anything with him is fun, but filming on a place where you're going to get that many bites, that was really fun.
Very cool.
Clark, I've been talking to some buddies who live around Texas, and you kind of look at some tournament results. We just had Matt Reed on talking about Falcon, and it seems like as a whole, that Texas is really healthy right now with LBJ and Falcon, Texoma fishing really good, some lakes making a comeback. You got some badass power plant lakes down there that guys fish as a winter. As a whole, would you say that Texas is an A+ right now for bass fishing?
Yeah, I actually would. I can't even think of any place right now that's not going good. And you know what? When I say going good, you know, I'm just like you guys. I look at tournament weights, and tournament weights just tell you so much. And you know, it seems like every single lake in Texas that's got a tournament on it or has had one recently, it's just taking big weight. And you know, that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to go out and just load the boat, you know, catch 5-pounder after 5-pounder, but it just shows the health of a lake. I think tournament results will go a long way into showing the health. And Texas right now is, it's way up there. We are having a little bit of low water right now in some lakes, and maybe that even makes it easier. You know, I like when the lakes are high and you know, it doesn't feel like a drought's right around the corner. I get that from the hunting side also. I don't want a drought, but you know, for the most part, Texas is really healthy right now.
You think that's just a result of a cycle where everything's kind of lined up, or is that seeing some of the results of the Texas Parks and Wildlife? We know what they do with the you know, the big bass and all the programs that they have there.
Man, I don't. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that it's Parks and Wildlife. I think it's more of everything's just lining up right now. To be honest with you, I just think. You know, everything is cycles. You talked about cycles. Everything goes in cycles. Whether the you know, the fish are biting good, whether the fish are, you know, it may be a lake that's good, but you can't catch them on a certain lake because they're not set up where they're easy to catch. And it seems like everything's just cycling such right now that in most Texas lakes, it's going pretty well right now.
One more question real quick out that. Obviously, you got a picture of you up there holding 2 smallmouth. You've won a lot of money on smallmouth, but I'm going to exclude Texoma in this equation. If you had to go smallmouth fishing in Texas, not on Texoma, where are you going?
Well, actually, Texoma is probably the only lake I've ever caught a only lake in Texas I've ever caught a smallmouth on. Actually, I've not fished Whitney, and so you know, Whitney's always I've heard of. Oh, I know the lake I'd go to would be Belton. Belton is it's a decent smallmouth fishery. It's the place where the smallmouth are on the lake is not huge, but it's got some big ones in it.
It's the same with spots, though. I mean, if you go to Texas to fish, you're not fishing for an exclude Texoma. You're not fishing for smallmouth or spotted bass. You're fishing for largemouth, right?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, if you're fishing for spots, you're going to be in trouble when you're in Texas. Some of these other states we go to, not that way.
I once weighed in a 4-pound, 15-ounce limit of spotted bass in a college tournament on Sam Rayburn. The tournament director said he'd been doing it for 20 years. It's the smallest 5-fish limit he's ever seen on Rayburn.
Wow.
That's not a good record to hold right there.
No, we caught him drop shotting the dam, which will tell you we were really on him.
Jeez. It's Sam Rayburn?
Yeah, we were in college. I mean, we didn't know where else to get bit. We were like, oh, look, a 12-inch keeper.
Clark, I'm curious. A ton of tournaments take place in Texas. When was the last time you fished a team tournament?
Well, actually, there's a lot of you know, kind of weekly tournaments that happen in the summer in a lot of places. In Texas, there's a lot of them also, and there's team tournaments. So I actually fish probably, you know, 6, 8, 10 a year, just either with my daughter or with my son-in-law and my brother. I mean, we just, you know, just fun tournaments. I think I fished one team event last year that was here on Travis and made the money, but didn't do all that great. But I mean, to me, tournament fishing is just about keeping you sharp, and I mean, all of us, we love to compete. That's why we do it.
Very nice. All right, you still following the NHL?
Absolutely.
All right, what do you think of the Stars this year so far?
Well, the Stars have been good. I mean, the last 2 games were pretty much of a disaster. If you follow hockey at all, I mean, they got beat 4-1 and they got beat 7-1, and going into kind of the All-Star break, and so. I mean, I know your Blues are doing awful good and beat them in the playoffs last year, but yeah, I'm always holding out hope that that this year is going to be the year. They're good defensively, and since their start, they've been really good. So, I mean, hopefully that'll continue.
Very cool. Matt, Clark actually has a authentic Oklahoma City Blazers jersey.
From back in the day. Nice, with the fight strap.
Yeah.
Who wore it?
I got his name on the back. I got it for him.
Oh, you got it for him?
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
were
it's pretty
always
cool.
big into the name on the back of the jersey deal.
It was a trend.
You were that guy in the Wednesday Nighter who came out with Jeffries on the back
was.
of the blue jerseys with the blue socks.
Oh,
you had the people on the bench
No,
yelling,
that's
"Come
just
on,
a
Game
hockey
7!"
deal, man.
Yeah, that was me. Well, don't they have a AAA hockey team in San Antonio? Isn't that right?
They've got a
They
bunch.
actually got one here in Austin.
Oh, do they really?
Yeah, they actually got one. It's a Stars affiliate. They're top affiliate. Texas Stars, actually Cedar Park. It's only about, their rink is only just 4 or 5 miles from my house.
Nice. All right,
So,
man. Well, we greatly appreciate you taking time out. And for those that have not seen his show about fishing and hunting in Texas, you need to check it out. You do a great job. The crew you have, just an unbelievable job, and some really, really cool shows on what's going on in Texas, man.
Well, thanks. I appreciate it. I enjoy doing it. And, guys, y'all, hopefully we'll talk after I win the first elite at St. John's. How does that sound?
That'll work. Book it.
All right.
We got it. All right,
All right,
Clark.
let's do it.
Take care, man.
Okay.
All right.
See you guys.
See you. All right, there you have it, Clark Wendlandt. And I got a lot of memories with him. Dominant for a period of time at Beaver Lake. One of the most incredible sight fishing anglers that I've ever been in a boat with.
FLW at Beaver.
Yeah. I got to spend an entire day with him on Beaver Lake while the spawn was taking place. And the characteristics that you have to become that top-notch sight fishing angler, he possesses all of them. And just a great dude, too.
If I was to say, and I think we talked about this, the two biggest surprises of the 2019 Elite Series field. One would be the year that Drew Cook had. We just didn't know much about him.
Right,
He came out, he
right.
led the Angler of the Year for the majority, won Rookie of the Year, cash a check in every event. And then the other one, with the 10 FLW Tour at the time, anglers moving over to the Elite Series, was that Clark Wendlandt missed the Classic and finished in 44th place. I think he was on both of our short lists, considering where they were going as an angler who might possibly win the Angler of the Year. And you look at how some of those anglers who transitioned the first year, obviously led by Scott Canterbury, who won, Corey Johnson, Shane LaHue, Chris Johnson. I mean, you can just continue to go down the list of those guys who made the transition and did really well.
Yeah.
And it's like he was fishing really well. He had made the last 4 cups, top 20s in the Angler of the Year standings on the FLW Tour. So I will fully expect him to be in the top 10 and back in the mix, even though it is now an 85-person field. But I mean, he was top 20 in 160, 170 boat field on FLW, come to a 75 boat field and finish 44th on the Elite Series. I mean, that's a really crappy year for a guy who's got 3 Anglers of the Year and is really damn good at what he does.
Plus, wasn't he on a Wheaties box?
He was.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So,
somebody posted on
anyway,
the
those would be
instant feedback.
my 2 surprises of last year, but I would be shocked if he doesn't make a comeback and catch him really well this year.
I agree. All right, great way to kick off the week. And folks, tomorrow I'm shaking. Jimmy Houston in studio. Can't wait for
How's
that.
Is he going to wear the sunglasses in studio?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Does he have like a agent that's going to come with him? Or is it does Jimmy Houston just roll up?
I don't know.
Does he have did he ask for like a meat and cheese plate or maybe some Evian water, some filtered water or something?
No. But I got to call him this afternoon to make sure
what's he going to wear?
Good to go.
Is he going to have a jersey on? Is he going to have a collared shirt?
He won't have a jersey on.
Does he have a driver? I have so many questions about Jimmy Houston. I mean, this guy's been around forever. He is an icon.
Yeah.
Can we get him to put on the Bill Dance hat that's behind me?
I say yes.
You think he would?
Yeah, I think he would. We'll see if he gets that done. Anyway, great show tomorrow. Tell everybody, tell all your friends. All right, the other thing is, folks, last time I checked, we were at 875 reviews. And this week, a huge announcement on something very, very special that we're going to give the fans an opportunity to win. Big time.
This actually is pretty big time.
Yeah.
And it's like brand new. It's not used. It hasn't
No.
been Jeffrey's, not a piece of Jeffrey's clothing. It's not anything it's brand new in the box, top of the line, and has
That's
several
right.
zeros after the initial number.
Yes, it does. So we'll let everybody know about that. So please review us on iTunes, subscribe to us on YouTube. Do everything you can to help us here at BTL. We greatly appreciate it. All right, Jimmy, tomorrow, that's it. We're out of here.